Hey guys, welcome back to the Fans First Talk Show. Today's episode is all about the latest G.I. Joe Classified reveals. We're ranking them, reviewing them, and breaking down everything you need to know, including some insight from the Hasbro team. 2025 is shaping up to be an absolute monster year for G.I. Joe fans, and so far, the lineup has us fired up. We're bringing you first reactions, deep dives, and plenty of hype all year long. Even when news slows down, we'll keep the energy going, because waiting for new figures should be just as much fun as unboxing them. But for now, let's break down everything confirmed which is heading our way in 2025. First, let's take a look at the mainline figure waves. We've got Blowtorch, Footloose, Darklon, and Frag Viper. After that, Sci-Fi, Snake Eyes version 4, Monkey Wrench, and Night Viper. There are rumors that Snake Eyes version 4 is an Amazon Pulse exclusive. Folks, that is not the case. Rest assured, Snake Eyes version 4 is a mainline wave figure. Keep watching, we've got a full breakdown of Snake Eyes version 4 in just a couple minutes. And wrapping up the year, a final wave featuring Battle Armor Cobra Commander, Major Bludd, and 2 new G.I. Joe characters. Then over to the Legacy series. Coming up first is the Firefighter. And there's one more Legacy figure this year. It's another Search and Rescue figure, and we believe that this will be a medic. Let's talk about deluxe figures. There's Law and Order, a mystery figure and pet set, and there will be another unannounced deluxe figure. Then over to the retro card line, the G.I. Joe Green Shirt Trooper, and the Cobra B.A.T. As for retail exclusives, let's start with Target, the Mass Device Divers 2-pack. And then another unannounced Mass Device 2-pack. Over to Walmart. The Walmart exclusive Crystal Ball, a Night Force 2-pack of Beachhead and Quick Kick. And another unannounced 2-pack. Then let's talk about the Hasbro Pulse exclusives for the rest of the year. We've got the Awe Striker and Crankcase, the MMS and Colonel Hawk. Then there's the Cobra Claw and the Cobra Pilot. How about the Snake Armor? Then there's the 2-pack that we've been telling you about, Mercer and Sergeant Slaughter. Another 2-pack, Slice and Dice. And there will also be a Troop Builder set. And don't forget about the Cobra Rattler HasLab. All of that to say there's still a lot more to come this year. The 2025 Classified Series lineup is already looking stacked with heavy hitters, fan favorites, and some surprises. Today we're going to rate and review the latest G.I. Joe Classified reveals. Watch until the end, we'll tell you which are the best and which ones to avoid. We're going to rank them in order from best to worst, so stick around and watch until the end. And first, Dex, we're going to talk about some of the new pipeline reveals for G.I. Joe Classified. We've got 4 new figures that have been announced that are on the way. We already knew about these, but now we're going to talk about it. First up, we have a Renegades pack of Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer. Then there's Battle Armor Cobra Commander, the Dreadnought Monkey Wrench, and Major Bludd. So let's quickly talk about these decks. For the Renegades, that's Mercer and Sergeant Slaughter. It's going to be more like a Warthog version of Sergeant Slaughter, and it's unofficial, but this also means that Taurus and Red Dog are also coming, and we think that they're going to be part of a Hasbro Pulse exclusive 2-pack on their own. We first broke the news on Mercer and Sergeant Slaughter about 2 months ago, and we've been researching this since last September of 2024. How excited are you that we now have Mercer coming with a new Sergeant Slaughter?
I think it's going to look really cool because he's like kind of like a Cobra Viper, but like different sort of like attire. He's got like short sleeve arms that are like ripped. So I think that will look really cool because then you can like kit bash.
I agree. Mercer was very high on my wish list along with the rest of the Renegades because like a lot of people out there watching right now, watching G.I. Joe the movie, they kind of stole the show, the Renegades. Back in the 80s, we didn't know that new figures were coming out until you saw the back of a package and saw the grid with all the different characters on it. So when I got the Renegades 3-pack one year for Christmas, I didn't even know they existed. I remember opening it up and thinking, who the hell are these guys? 3 of them together bursting out of a brick wall. They had a big impact on kids in the 80s, and now we're finally getting them.
I think Taurus is going to look really cool because of his beard and mustache, and the yellow is going to look pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm a big Red Dog fan, so I can't wait to get him. That football jersey and the little gold headband. This guy's going to look good. I can't wait for all of them. And then Battle Armor Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
How excited are you for that guy?
That's going to look really cool. I can't wait for that one.
The only thing is, I wish he came with the pogo, but maybe we'll get that down the road. And then there's Monkey Wrench and Major Bludd, and I'm going to just hold up the Cobra Island Major Bludd, because this is basically, essentially the same thing that we're going to be getting, but in the mainline wave. I think a lot of people expected, as we did, that there'd be a retro version with the vintage-inspired look and the old-school eye patch, but we're not getting that. We're getting more of this, which is fine. What are your thoughts on the Cobra Island Major Bludd?
I don't think they need a new Major Bludd. I think this one's perfectly fine. I guess you could have one for the retro line, but this one's perfectly fine. I don't think there's a need to make a second one. It'll still be cool, though.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people missed out, so I like that they're going to have another opportunity to get this, but if you already have this, let us know. Are you going to be buying basically a double of it in the mainline wave? I don't think we're going to, but there are a lot of people out there who missed out the first time, and they were making fewer of these. It's harder to get them.
The thing about his pistol, though, is I think they need to change it. They need to just, like, slightly shorten the, like, muzzle or the end of the barrel of his, like, the long pistol, because it looks pretty close to the one from Call of Duty, but I think it would look a lot better if it was shortened, because it's way too long for a pistol. It looks almost identical to the TYR in Call of Duty.
Yeah, it really does. You're right. You pointed that out to me, and I like that gun, but you're right. Now, I'll say one thing. If this is going to be almost a reissue of the Cobra Island Major Bludd, the missiles that go into his, like a laser pistol, those have got to be changed, because they do not stay in his backpack. You put them in, and within a second, they are falling out.
Yeah, I think this figure is going to be really good. I think if they're going to make a new one, though, they got to change the colors up. Don't keep the same brown that they had from before. Like, I don't want a second one.
That's
you don't
pretty
need
fair.
a duplicate.
Yeah, I'd love to see, like, a crimson version of this guy, right? Like, or even, what about a H.I.S.S version?
Yeah.
Right, like the H.I.S.S tank guys. Get him in the black, like all black with red accents. I'd love that. And, you know, this is Major Bludd, so people from the 80s are used to him being in black and brown. But I think you are onto something there, Dex. Especially if they're going to reuse most of the figure. They could have given us a different colorway. And then they can kind of get away with it by saying it's different enough.
You might as well just keep the Cobra Island packaging, though, if you're not going to change the colors. Just put it in the same exact box. No point. I know they got some laying around. Just put the exact same thing out. Just ship it back out. Don't even change it. But, like, how original. You give us the same exact colors and then say, new figure, $45. No one wants to pay that. What the heck?
Hasbro's gonna Hasbro, what can I say? Now, Dex, out of these 4 new releases that are gonna be on the way sometime this year, which are you most excited for?
The Battle Armor Cobra Commander. That's the one I want the most. It looks the coolest.
I'm almost there with you, except for one factor. We've got Mercer on this list. Right there, that's the guy I want. Mercer, Sergeant Slaughter, give me more. Now, 2 figures that Hasbro did not announce yet, but they are part of a wave with Snake Eyes version 4 and Monkey Wrench, Sci-Fi, guy that you really like, and Night Viper, very popular army trooper. I'm not sure why they didn't announce them all together. They're holding back, clearly, and I don't see a benefit in doing so. We already know that these are on the way. I don't know why Hasbro plays these games and acts like, oh, here's something new, and we've already been talking about it for months. So, Dex, how excited are you for Sci-Fi?
I'm pretty excited. I wanted him for, like, first wave, though, not, like, 47th wave. They should have done him, like, 3-4 years ago. But it's still going to be really cool. They just better not mess him up.
Yeah, I'm expecting it's going to be a little more vintage-inspired, but I'm disappointed. I wanted the Operation Blackout version.
Yeah.
That'd be wicked. And I hope that that hasn't gone away, because I know they designed it, and they had it ready to go, and then they switched, did a pivot to more vintage-inspired, and now here we are.
They better not make the guns one-colored, though. If they do that, that's going to be a waste.
We'll have to wait and see. That's more of a retro card sort of thing that they do, but I'm with you.
You never know, because if it costs money, Hasbro's going to say no, so probably not going to be. It's probably just going to be gray guns.
We'll wait and see. But you're probably right to an extent. If you're enjoying this, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed. Now let's get on to the new digital renders. These are our first looks at these upcoming figures. First up, Snake Eyes version 4. A very popular version of Snake Eyes for a lot of people out there. This is, for a lot of them, their first Snake Eyes.
Yeah, this one looks really cool. I like the mask he has. It's kind of like a paintball mask, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And his gun, I like that there's actually more than one color on it. Hopefully they include a rope, though, on the grapple hook. I see that they've been listening to someone out there, though. As you can see, every gun here, or weapon, has more than one color. Black, red, and silver. That's more than they're used to.
Yeah, it's an improvement.
I'm used to just one, all black for a katana. It's like, katanas are not black. It looks pretty cool, though. The throwing knives look amazing on his leg, though.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that one little detail, and I shouldn't be. But go on. What about it?
Hopefully you can take it off his leg and put it on other people. That would be pretty good. Also, he has a bunch of padding on his forearms, which looks pretty cool because we usually don't get that. And I think everything about him looks really good.
Yeah, the forearm guards remind me of Storm Shadow, like the classic version that we got, not the retro style. But overall, I like the details here. I did not have this figure in the 80s, so I don't have like an attachment to him. But overall, I think it's a good color scheme. I love that blue.
Yeah.
So I'm going to borrow one of your points, Dex, about the weapons and getting more paint apps on them. For some figures, we do get a lot of paint apps on the vest overlay. But in this case, it's basically all one color.
For Snake Eyes, though, you don't really want much color on him because he's supposed to like blend in with the shadows.
A little more definition.
The guns I need all the guns to have as much stuff as I want because then I can put it on whatever figure I want. I don't care about these little guys that like Snake Eyes. Worst figure in G.I. Joe. No one really cares about him. So just give him weapons, nothing else. For all I care, just give him a torso and not like padding or anything. I just need the weapons.
Hey, they did that once in the 80s. All black figure. Cost cutting. Hasbro's been cost cutting since 1982, guys. This is nothing new. Okay, it's time for the ratings now. Dex, what do you give Snake Eyes version 4 out of 10? And these are early reviews, so we're likely to change this down the road.
I'm going to give it base. Starting out, I'm going to go up when I actually see the actual thing. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's a good figure, but I think it could use some improvements.
I agree.
Amazing guns, though.
I agree. I was going to give this a 7 as well.
Next, the MMS.
Yeah, with Colonel Hawk.
It's pretty cool, though, that it's towable, though, the MMS, so you can, like, bomb things with holding it by the back of the vamp. It's the same blast effects as we've seen before.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with
It's
those.
the exact same ones.
And we don't even use them. They've been reused over and over.
They just pretty much tossed in all the blast effects that came with Scrap Iron, just not the gun ones. So it's like,
Totally
what
right.
the heck? Just save the plastic, Hasbro, because I know you guys need the money. Just give me an extra gun or two, and I'll take it. It's like the equivalent of one of the blast effects, but it's worth it. I'll at least use the gun. Never touched those blast effects once in my life. Only time I ever used it was for like brakes, because the vehicles kept rolling back, because they don't know how to distribute the weight properly. You're $1 billion company and you don't know how to put plastic in properly. It's not that hard.
So the blast effects you're talking about are the ones where the explosions on the ground, right?
Hasbro, you're not slick, buddy. And why is it that I see in the corner? I don't care if it goes on his back. Why do you guys have a holster? Don't be flexing saying we have a holster. That should be on him already. I don't need to be seeing that.
That's a backpack holster.
I don't...
But you've made this point before, yeah.
Why are there still holsters? Like...
You mean separate, as if it's like a separate accessory?
Just put it on the figure. I don't need to see that holster. I'm not buying it because, there's a holster that comes with it. No, I'm buying it for the figure and, like, maybe the big missile launcher I'm buying it for. I'm not buying it for a backpack. What the heck is this?
Yeah, look, this has been the case since, Shipwreck, Copperhead, and Cobra Officer, I think, that had those. And
Copperhead had more holsters than he did weapons. Like, what the heck? Here's the thing, though. The big, the bottom blast effects, like the ones that lay flat on the floor, like the ones that spiral
the
upwards.
Jetstream ones or whatever?
No, the ones that, lay flat on the floor and, look like waves and stuff. It's like, I'm not going to use those. First of all, look at the MMS. Why the heck would there be explosives on the floor that move like that? It's a big rocket launcher that goes straight like this. It's not going to be going down at an angle like that. Like, what the heck, guys? And then the other ones... Just give me more of the long ones. You have one that's super stubby and one that's super long.
Yeah.
What the heck, guys?
Yeah.
And where's that even going to go? On the back? That's not... It's still attached to it, then. You guys got to think things through. Tossing in accessories when it doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, I think you're right. And they could have used all that plastic and created a new one of, an impact of one of those rockets, landing.
And where's the math here, guys? There's 2 blast effects for the to put on the missiles, but there's 3 missiles, and one of them's half a missile. What the heck?
Oh boy, they didn't know what they were getting into, and these are wrong. The orange should be closer to here, right behind the missile, and the smoke is at the back.
Yeah,
they've got it reversed, right?
Yeah,
the colors on the blast effects behind the missiles, the colors should be reversed. Ugh. All that aside, MMS does look really good.
You guys gotta stop using ChatGPT for your digital renders, guys.
What about the stands, though, right? Like, I don't know what they're called. The legs, I guess, that you can flip down and make it more stationary. What do you think of those?
Oh,
I like those. And especially the...
Yeah, I like that you can, like, flip them up. They look really cool.
And they've got some hydraulics on there, too.
And they have different colors on it, too, for the hydraulics. Red and gray.
So we're talking about the blast effects, which is just another reason why, like, now we're talking about what's wrong with it as opposed to the good. If it had been different blast effects, we wouldn't even have this as a conversation.
Don't even give me the
point.
Blast effects. Just take $10 off the price tag.
I don't want those
like,
either.
I think this will be around $300 because there's blast effects included in it.
What about his helmet, though? Right? Let's talk about Hawk. This is Colonel Hawk. So this is one of the original 13 figures. Came out in 1982. You know, very generic army builder type of guy. But
this
is
like a Pixar villain.
He kind of does. I see where you're going with that. Yeah, that face looks a little cartoony. Now this is just the digital render, so we'll see what it looks like when the digital.
He looks like that. What was that guy's name? Sid from Toy Story, just different hair color.
Oh, it's the eyebrows
and the haircut.
Yeah, you're right. He does look like that guy. Yeah,
still making missiles 20 years down the line. What the heck?
What about that helmet, though?
It's a really nice helmet. It looks pretty good.
I'm down with that.
And it looks like there's some sort of, like, image or, like, decal on it. So, I thought at first that there was a decal on there, and I was like, good job, Hasbro. And then now I'm saying, bad job, Hasbro. You got the helmet with the night goggles on it. First of all, you have a visor, so why do you have night vision goggles attached to it? But where are the night vision goggles? I don't see those anywhere in sight.
So, they could be part of this, but I don't think they are. I think you're right. So it's reuse that's not going to be used. At least from what we're seeing here. Until we know more, I think you're right. That is questionable why they did that. Either way, I still like the look of the helmet, right?
Yeah.
So, and the weapons are very old school, original 13 inspired. So this is not going to be a fancy Hawk. I mean, it's basically a lot of reuse from Grunt. These are the green shirts, as we call them. But overall, like, it's going to be good, but the star attraction here is the MMS.
Yeah, and don't forget the blast effects.
Yeah, can't forget those blast effects, Dex.
What would you give the MMS out of 10?
Are we doing it MMS and then Colonel Hawk separately, or do you want to put them together?
Put them together.
That makes it more difficult for me, because I'm not that keen on the Hawk. For the simple fact that we're going to be pairing the MMS with the Vamp that we have. First of all, got to quickly add, I hope the MMS is the same color as the Vamp. In terms of the shade of green.
Perfect shade, and it can't be off.
Gotta be right on. That's Tony's job. Tony does a great job with all the paint apps and the colors. I'm sure he's on that. They're not frivolous complaints. If this is not the same green as the Vamp. And same thing with the upcoming Striker.
Yeah.
Both of those vehicles are supposed to tow the MMS. Overall, though, you know, I'm going to give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. And if it was Hawk on his own, I'd give like a 5. It's not important to me. It's good for the history of the line. So, Dex, I gotta ask you, what would you give this out of 10?
That's a tough one. Let me think. I'm gonna have to give it a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5?
No, a 6. It's a really good thing.
What?
Like, amazing vehicle.
Yeah.
Or whatever you call that, little hitch tow thing, whatever.
Towable attachment.
First of all, get a calculator, guys. Calculate. There's 3 missiles, 2 blast effects. What the heck are you guys doing? There's 4 of the blast effects, the ground ones, but the missiles are way bigger than the blast effects, like the explosion, and half of them don't even make sense. Why would there be like pretty much like a tsunami going upwards off of a huge missile that could take out a whole city? Like, what the heck? And the figure, good figure and all, he just looks like a little kid. So 6 out of 10.
See, Hasbro, this is the problem with reuse. You gotta deal with Dex.
And that holster made it go down one whole one. I was gonna make it like a 7 or like a 6.5. The holster, I've already told you guys before, don't put a holster in there. Don't care if it's a backpack or anything. I don't need to see that.
Yeah, it's not really a selling point. I agree with you. You're basically saying, like, I'm not buying this because you included a holster, like a backpack holster.
Yeah, that's
in
what
the
I'm
image.
saying.
Yeah, let that be a nice surprise.
You're basically telling me, buy this, we're desperate, so we're gonna act like there's more in here, because that's how pathetic it is.
That's what those blast effects are there for. You're totally right, Dex. There's no need for those. I'm wondering if those are just thrown in, or if we're actually going to be paying for those as part of the cost. Because I don't want those.
Because it only costs them like $1 for all the blast effects, so they can charge an extra $50. Because that's how Hasbro's math works. If it costs $1, you times it by 50.
If you're enjoying this, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed.
Next, we got the Green Shirt Trooper. First thing, before I even talk about the figure, I'm just going to say this. Hasbro, billion-dollar company out there, has a bunch of different lines. Marvel Legends, what else? Star Wars, G.I. Joe, make a bunch of toys for little kids and stuff, all cash grabs. But at the end of the day, billion-dollar company, and they're listening to me. That's pretty funny, because look at this, the guns. They go from having all gray guns to now, what is that I see? 2 colors on a pistol. I thought you guys were too cheap to do that. 2 colors on the knife. Then you move over a little bit. 2 colors on the assault rifles. Seems like someone's listening to me.
Yeah, I don't think Hasbro wants any of your smoke decks. But aside from the weapons, let's talk about the Green Shirt Trooper. I'm not sure how people are going to receive this, but overall, it's not a bad army trooper.
I think it's pretty good. I like both of the head sculpts. They're super detailed, though.
The Caucasian guy has bags under his eyes, which I don't think we've seen so far. Maybe there was some in low light, but it hasn't been a prominent thing through the Classified series.
Yeah.
And now we've got the African-American guy with a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow if you look in closely, right? Like, there's a little more detail here than we might have expected, and I love these head sculpts. This is great. These guys look like modern-day troopers. And hopefully, we can reuse these head sculpts and the neck pegs on other figures, like perhaps
Flint! Pull that head off, toss it in the garbage, plop a head on. Done. Flint's fixed.
Okay, well, I was thinking more along the lines of the 60th anniversary infantry soldier, right?
I was thinking Flint, but I think they need to do this more where you can like take the necks off and like so you can like kit bash.
Yeah, like you can boil them and all that, but this is going to be a lot easier to do this.
Yeah. And also, it's Duke's helmet, which is pretty nice. Also, if you check on his, like, vest, there's a smoke grenade on his chest, and you can see the clips. Those are, like, made of gold. That looks pretty cool, so.
Yeah, nice paint apps on this. And now time for the ratings of the Green Shirt Trooper from the Retro Card series. Dex, what would you give this guy out of 10?
I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It's a really good figure. I like all the different accessories and guns he has, and also the head sculpts. Really good figure.
I see why you're giving it that, but I'm going the opposite direction. And I'm not saying this is a bad figure. It's not. The head sculpt's really good, but again, I'm a G.I. Joe fan first and foremost. I don't have any attachment to these guys, so I'm not seeing them as, like, just how good is the figure. It's a good figure. No disputing that. I'm going to give these guys a solid 7.5 out of 10. Next up, another Retro Card series figure. It's Cobra B.A.T.
And again, on his accessories, 2 colors. Where's my paycheck, Hasbro? Where's my paycheck? Using my ideas? Fine, please do that. But at the end of the day, I need a paycheck or free figures out of this.
Well, I was just about to say, Hasbro doesn't pay people with money. They pay people with free figures. So
you never know.
I don't work for plastic. I work for money, like a professional. We don't deal with free figures as forms of payment. Now, here's the original Cobra B.A.T that came out with the G.I. Joe Classified series. Very popular when it first came out. I mean, this was all the buzz.
Yeah.
Then we got some repaints. So many repaints of the bats. Some really good, some not so necessary. The new retro card one is going to be a brighter yellow. The silver parts, like the metal, is a brighter silver, not the gray.
And there's some transparent pieces for the, like, plates, which looks pretty good. So you don't have to, like, buy them off another place.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Blast effects. More paint apps on the hand attachments.
And the extensions, like the blast effects for them, are so good. Different colors on them. Really nice. And the helmet. I love the cracked helmet, or like the beat up helmet. It looks so good.
Absolutely, the damaged one. And the chest parts are all painted different colors than this one. Now, in the spirit of the Cobra B.A.T, gotta pull out my double bat shirt made by Ralph Bednarski. There's a link in the description. If you want to check out some of his G.I. Joe inspired shirts, I highly recommend them. I vouch for it because we've got several of them. Even got a few paintings that Ralph sent us. Dex, what do you think about this? Are you looking forward to a new version of the Cobra B.A.T, or is it just, you know, we've already got this one, so...
I think it looks pretty good.
I think it's an improvement.
Yeah, I think it's better.
In fact, if you go all the way back in time to when this first came out, this one, the new retro one is what I was asking for. I wanted a brighter yellow, not this sort of orangey yellow, and then the red faceplate. That's my Cobra B.A.T. I like the red visor, and so now we're getting, in my opinion, the perfect Cobra B.A.T.
And the holster is now brown instead of yellow.
Yeah, a little more realistic, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a great job. I think they improved everything they could have improved.
Especially the accessories for the hands. That's like...
Yeah, and how about the silver metallic look? This time it's not that muted gray that we had the first time around, right? So, like, this is overall just a much nicer looking Cobra B.A.T. I'm totally down with this. I think we're going to pick up at least 1 or 2.
Yeah. What would you rate the B.A.T out of 10?
You know what? Because it's the perfect B.A.T, I got to give it a good score, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm going to do the exact same thing. 9 out of 10.
Classic
Actually,
figure.
no. I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. Really nice figure. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Because I love the blast effects that I put with it. Listening to me now, multicolors, perfect.
Kudos to Hasbro. You really did a great job with the Cobra B.A.T. Absolutely. Yeah. Some people are going to be like bored with it, but I don't think there's a reason to. This is something that we should be glad for. And we've got more to come. Stay tuned for even more reactions, ratings, and reveals in our next episode of the Fans First Talk Show. You won't want to miss it. Until then, let us know which of these new reveals you're most looking forward to. Elbows up. And there you have it. You've made it to the end of this episode, and we really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. And we would love it even more if you take just 1 second of your time. Make sure that down below you are subscribed to the channel. We ask that you do, because that guarantees that we definitely get to see you back here again next time. Thanks for tuning into Viper Island, your one-stop shop for all things G.I. Joe. When there's relevant news, we'll be here to discuss all of it, together with you. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, have a great day, and yo Joe!